What is going on, YouTube? I am back with another video, and you can see you guys get the rear view of the beast today, which most people get, right? But if you are new to the channel, you guys will know this is my 1320, and everything 1320 happens right here. And today I'm gonna be telling you guys why you should probably buy the 5.7 and not the 6.4. Now, hear me out. It's one of those things that I have had every trim level possible when it comes to a Challenger, except for the Demon that's on the list. But let's dive into it. Make sure you hit that subscription button, lock in, and let's go. Guys, so if you don't know, all right, I have had, again, every trim level possible in the Challenger. And so far, the 1320 has been my favorite. Yes, over any other car I've ever had, right? But I am saying something that's pretty major, and that is if you are looking to buy one of these between the 5.7 and 6.4, I'm gonna always tell you to go with the 5.7. Here's a few reasons as to why. All right, when it comes to the 5.7 and the 6.4, no matter if you're talking Challenger or Charger, there is different levels of each trim. All right, you have base, premium to blackout package, all these things that Dodge is giving you, right? And one of the first things I'll talk about and why I actually say get the 5.7 over the 6.4 is a couple things. One, all right, the 5.7 is a little bit more capable of an engine and more of a, what I would say, a daily drivable or reliable engine or car itself. The 5.7 is one of those engines that gives you just enough horsepower that you could drive it and not have to worry about wrapping one of these things around a tree if you're in the rain, or if you're like some people I know that ride around on ball tires, right? You ride around in a 6.4 on ball tires and hit the wrong turn, again, you will be in the ditch very, very quick. So for me, I think the 5.7 was just the most comfortable daily drivable car. That is reason number one why I say you might want to rethink getting the SCATPACK, right? Two, everybody knows that there is a price difference, okay? So for the base models, right? I'm not talking upgrade anything. The base models between a 5.7 and a 6.4, you're looking at anywhere between a $5,000 to $9,000 or $8,000-ish difference, which is not a lot, right? So some people may take that and say, oh, well, I may as well get the extra $5,000 to $8,000 and get the SCATPACK, right? I hear you. That's one of the arguments that I'm kind of like, okay, I agree with you on, right? But for me, if you're saving that $5,000 to $8,000, yes, you can put it into mods, because when you get this car, you're gonna see wraps, you're gonna see wheels, you're gonna see all types of stuff done, right? That is where that money comes into play. And if you spend all of your money on just getting the car, if you like the car for what it is and you don't want to mod it, hear me out, go get your SCATPACK, right? But if you're like me, I love doing things to my car right away. So you save a little bit of money that way. Now, if you're one of those that says, hey, I'm gonna get an RT because you can boost it and build it and all this other stuff, right? Not the case, okay? Let me tell you, it costs a lot to build not only a 5.7 or a 6.4. It's probably a little bit cheaper, but I'm telling you, it costs a lot. So that $5,000 to $8,000, you can get a little bit done, but think about trying to get the 500 wheel in a 5.7. You're gonna spend that $5,000 to $8,000 on a supercharger and having to build some things up, right? Same thing with this car. What I tell you is, if you're getting this car strictly for the popularity, cool, right? But the same idea is if you are trying to build a 6.4, the engine itself, the 392 is already stretched. So at that point, you're gonna spend a lot of money to not only build it safely, but when you're talking boost, the 5.7 and the 6.4, you're running 8 pounds of boost safely on a 5.7 and 6 pounds of boost, if you even want to get to that, on a 6.4, right? So I just think for me, the 5.7 just made more sense because, again, you saved money and, of course, got to put some money into it. This is coming from somebody who's had a 5.7, 6.4, all that good stuff, right? And for me, I think Dodge, let me back up. Dodge does a great job of giving you just enough horsepower to want the next step up, right? So for me, when I was in the 5.7, I was like, oh, this isn't too bad. And then I rode in somebody's hellcat and everything else. I was like, whoa, like there's so much out there that Dodge can do, right? And that is where they get you. And that is why I always tell people, go with the 5.7 first, learn what you can handle, learn what you can drive, and then based on that, go up, right? And everybody thinks they're a good driver. Everybody thinks they can drive, right? There's different levels to this, and being able to control a $50,000 to $60,000, $70,000 car, you don't want to wrap it around a tree, like I said, right? So you heard my first two reasons. I think my third reason is pretty pretty important, all right? The 5.7, you can actually grab used, right? With the upgraded leather, all sorts of things, right? They have all the good stuff on the inside, because what's on the inside matters as well, right? And even 5.7s are coming with Brembos, right? So some people worry about the brakes. You can literally grab one from anywhere between 27 to 35, right? Which is a great price for one of these cars, because right now they are obviously skyrocketing. Again, it's one of those things, entry level RT is a great car. Now, let's talk about some of the negatives of the 6.4 and why I say the 5.7. So understand this car is different than your normal SCATPACK. I'm speaking on just your 6.4 in general, no matter Charger or Challenger, okay? So when it comes to these cars, they are just fast enough, again, to be dangerous on the road, number one. Two, when it's wet, if you don't have good tires, etc., you can, again, wrap it around a tree. But three, there are so many of these on the road that when I tell you I get tried every single day, and I do live in Atlanta, so it's like Mopar country out here for real, or Dodge country, I should say, that it is one of those things that you're going to be tempted to race, you're going to be tempted to speed, you're going to be tempted to do a whole bunch, right? And so therefore, you're going to kind of be in this realm and grouped into a realm that obviously, I'm going to say this, police are going to attract to you. And now that is probably, no matter if you have a 5.7, 6.4, Hellcat, doesn't matter. These cars have been labeled, and I hate that, right? But the difference between the two is the 5.7 isn't enough to get away. Now, another couple of things that I hate about the 6.4, right? Now, I love my car to death. Do I want to get rid of it? Yes. But I also know that this is a special car and it's going to be worth a lot as these fade out. Now, one thing I hate about the 6.4 is because the motor is so stretched already, right? It is very hard to pull power or get power out of these 392s. So it's one of those things that it leaves you in this area, again, Dodge does very, very well, of giving you just enough power to want to step up, right? Now, this car is a $60,000 car. Now, they've kind of fluctuated. I've seen them go for 51, 58, 54, 60, 62. It kind of all depends, right? So to jump up to a Hellcat from a 6.4 and a base SCATPACK, you're looking anywhere from 37 to 50. We're talking non-wide body. You're getting the wide body, you're talking a little bit more, right? But you're talking anywhere between a $20,000 to a $30,000 jump to go from a base SCATPACK to a Hellcat price right now. And that is a huge jump. That is a whole nother car, right? A whole nother 5.7, which is why I say if you get into one of these, you're always going to want to make the next step, right? And for me, the 5.7, you have it for a little while, learn how to drive it, understand what it is, enjoy it for what it is. You make the jump to a SCATPACK, it's not that much. But jumping from a SCATPACK to a Hellcat is a lot in today's market. Now, again, it's all on what you want. So I will drop a video on Hellcats tomorrow, and it kind of explain the pros and cons of those. Again, owning every model but a Demon so far, I can pretty much give you as much insight as possible. So with that being said, again, I think the 5.7 is just a little bit more moddable. 2, it's a little bit more fun to daily drive, or a little bit safer to the daily drive. 3, you may not be grouped in with the SCATPACK boys, right? If you know anything about the SCATPACK boys, it's life, right? And then of course, you're not fully stretched on motor wise, right? So you're not going to be dumping 10,000 to get 20, 30, 40, 50 wheel horsepower, right? Now that's exaggerated. Don't kill me in the comments, right? But to get this car upwards of Hellcat fast, you're going to spend more than what it is to just purchase a Hellcat, right? And I always tell people that when they talk about getting a 1320 and wanting to race, it's like, if you want to go boosted, get a car that's boosted from factory with a warranty, and then go from there, right? Now, NA builds are crazy. I love mine, but think smart, you guys. I'm already in too deep. It is what it is. You know, I'll be linking up with my guy. If you know who it is, Big Chungus. He's got the 6.4 that's got a 1,000 wheel Whipple on top with no hood, man. He's in Charlotte. I'll be linking up with him soon, so you can see his car and how much he put into it, and we'll compare, because we're semi-close in some ways, right? But outside of that, thank you for tuning in, man. Let me know what you think about the 5.7 and the 6.4. I kind of flip-flop every so often, I'm not gonna lie, but today I'm rocking with the 5.7. I love my 5.7, but if you're new to the channel, everything 1320 happens right here, and we are out.